Namaste. Namaste and welcome. Welcome to our Sunday meditation. Welcome to my heart. May we find happiness and peace, tranquility and equanimity as we share this time together today. Let us begin by focusing the attention at the Agya chakra, the sun center, the point between your eyes. Take 3 long, deep breaths, allowing the inhalation to fill and the exhalation to release all tension from your body. Yet again. And yet again. O ye powers that be, we call upon you today, saints and sages of all times, of all places. O ye pathmakers of old, gurus of the holy Kriya lineage, most beloved divine Ishtadevata, in all of your names and all of your forms, we call upon you. Be with us. Be with us. Be with us. May our minds be clear. May our communication be clear. May we be blessed. And sit back and make yourself comfortable. India. The dry season. The dust rises so that when you breathe, it fills your nose, fills your mouth. Everything is dirty. A young group of pilgrims went to the ashram. India is filled with ashrams. This one, very plain ashram. No electricity. The travelers, pilgrims had gotten there tired. Their minds were tired. Long trip to get to the ashram. And it wasn't easy. They got on the airplane. That was okay. But they got to India and everything slowed down. Everything slowed down. What could they do? But be patient. One of the pilgrims, a young woman, her name was Shanti. She had saved and saved and saved to come to the ashram. This was the ashram of her guru. And she had saved for years to come here. She was excited. But you could barely see when you get to the ashram. And so one of the monks came and walked around with a light and took each guest to their hut, their meditation hut. Now, the meditation hut was just what you'd think. The hut. Bed, place to meditate, no electricity. The monk leads her there. And she says, how am I supposed to see? Problem. It's the full moon tonight. You won't have any problem at all. We don't use oil lamps or electricity unless it's needed. He leaves. She approaches the door to the hut. She crosses the entryway. And she looks inside the hut. Everything freezes. Every cell of her being freezes. She can't move. She can hardly breathe. What is she going to do? Well, the mind begins to rant and rave. The mind begins to create chaos, chokos. Everybody told her. The first thing they said when she said she was going to India, got to be careful of the cobras. Got to be careful of the cobras. You got to be careful of the cobras. You know, one snap, you're gone. Yeah, it won't be a problem, she says. And here, in this place that is to be safe for her, what does she see in the corner? She doesn't want to think about it. She cannot bring herself to move her body. Her mind has paralyzed her body completely. You know what that's like. Fear arises, anxiety arises, anger arises, disappointment arises. But she can't bring herself to move. And she thinks, well, okay, I came here. I'm going to die here. A little melodramatic. All right, well, what do I do? Her mind goes to neti, neti, neti. I'm not this thought. I'm not the thought thinking this thought. I'm not thought. That works for just a little bit. And the fear creeps in like a tiger and grasps her. She continues to be aware of the thoughts that are rising in her mind. And what does she see? All the thoughts of the past, all the flights of the past come to rise in her mind. All the fears of the future come to rise in her mind. Oh, it's a lot. Fears of the present, the fears in the past, the fears in the future. The anxiety in the past, the anxiety in the present, the anxiety in the future. What is she going to do? And this goes on and on and on. The moon rises. And instead of becoming more harmonious and better and easier to deal with, her mind becomes entrapped. Her mind becomes seized, very important word, seized by the fears. Oh. Time rolls. The moon is high. She opens one eye. Cobra's still there in the corner. And she sits paralyzed. Again, all of the flights of the emotions from the past, from the future, from the present, rise in her mind. But there is a blessing. She goes to try to practice Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. That helps for a little bit. Om, Om, Om. It helps for a little bit. Hey Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hey Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. If she can't do anything, she's going to get the sword out to cut the head of the cobra off. That doesn't help so much. But the moon passes across the sky. She's exhausted, absolutely exhausted. Her muscles are tight. She can't believe this is how she spent the first night in the ashram and that she spent money to get here. What was she thinking? The moon crosses the sky. Om Pur Bhuva Svaha. Om Tat Savitur Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Dio Yo Naha. Prachodayat. Om Pur Bhuva Svaha. Tat Savitur Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Dio Yo Naha. Prachodayat. Om Pur Bhuva Svaha. Tat Savitur Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Dio Yo Naha. Prachodayat. And on and on and on. Om Bhur Bhuva Svaha. Tat Savitur Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Dio Yo Naha. Prachodayat. She continues. 48 minutes later, she comes out of her meditation and feels wonderful. Just wonderful. And that Om Bhur Bhuva Svaha. Tat Savitur Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Dio Yo Naha. Prachodayat. Continued to chant through her mind. Is a rosary of lotus. What happened? She opens her eyes. Oh, that felt good. That felt good. Well, I guess I better get up and go to the morning meditation. Forgetting what had paralyzed her. As she gets up, her mind remembers. Om Bhur Bhuva Svaha Tat Savitur Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Dio Yo Naha. Prachodayat. Om. And she sees in the corner where the cobra had been living in her mind all night long. The rope coiled. She was to use to hang her laundry on. She was to use to hang the hammock on. The rope coiled in the corner. No cobra. Never a cobra. Except in the mind. The cobra was in the mind. The fears were in the mind. Never out there. Always in here. But her other practices didn't work. Why? What happened? What was the Kriya? What was the magic that happened that freed her from the illusion of her mind, that freed her from the emotions that rose and fall in the mind? Habit. Japa. Practice, consistent practice at the same time, every day. Every day. Every day for several years. When she awoke, before she got out of bed, she was chanting 5 a.m. every day, 3, 4:30, 5 a.m. Bargo devasya dimahi, dio yona prachodayat. Om. Every morning when she woke, before she did anything, before she got out of bed, she chanted her favorite mantra, the beloved Gayatri mantra that is chanted by people all over the world at sunrise, at midday, at sunset. The mind, the body had been trained. And we had a sacred principle in mysticism. And that principle is kala, time. Time and place are everything. So the time always was when she woke up, regardless of where she was. And while she had had fear experiences and been paralyzed in other parts of the world, this was the first time that the cobra had seized her mind. It took the form of seizing a mind just simply because it was in India at the ashram. She was tired. Remember, don't forget that. She was tired. Her body was tired. Her mind was tired. But yet, in spite of all that, sunrise came and she began to chant. She had taken advantage of one of the great benefits that we have here on the earth. And that is, we live in a world of time, of kala. And we live in a world of Saturn time, which means that the time is slower. It gives you time to concentrate. It gives you time to repeat. It gives you time to pay attention to what you are doing. Great revelation for her. Great revelation, great freedom and freeing. So what does it say to you? What does it say to you and how you live your life? The emotions of the mind live in the body. Actually, they live in the gut. They live in your intestinal tract. They live in your gut. The intestinal tract is not really the right word. The microbiome. They live there. They stay there. They harden there. until you do something to let them go. But if you continue to feed them over and over and over again, they will harden, become set, and the mind is seized. And, I've used that word 3-4 times this morning so that you understand when the emotions rise in the mind, they seize your awareness. They come in and they take over and they seize it. They say, you may think you're the master here, but you're not. C'est moi, it is me. And I will continue to do that which I wish to do until you do something. To change the environment so that I cannot live here comfortably anymore. Shanti had spent the entire night, every bit of anguish and fear from the past, every criticism from the past. She was sure she was going to die. Why? Not because she truly saw a cobra, but because she had glommed on to the thought that had been shared with her over and over and over again by people as she was getting ready to come to India. You got to watch it. You got to watch it. You got to watch it. What does this mean to you and me? It means that you must establish a habit. You must find a practice. You notice that Shanti used a bunch of practices, but it was only the one that she truly loved, that she had truly fed, that helped her. Now, these other practices were meaningful to her. There's no doubt, neti, 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 om shanti, shanti, shanti. They were meaningful. But the practice that freed her is the one that she did over and over and over, that she loved, that she put the time into, the energy into. That is what freed her. And so for you, find a practice. One. Does it need to be 5? Does it need to be 100? And it's all right if you find 5 or 100. But you need to find something that brings you great joy. It might be the Om mantra. It might be the Om Sarvasham mantra. It might be breathing Hamsa Kriya. But you must find something that brings you enough joy that you will do it day after day after day after day. At the same time, in the same position. At the same time, same position. When you do that, you are taking advantage of the laws of the earth plane, the laws that live in this place that we are currently residing, the laws that exist here and now. You're saying, I understand that if I repeat something over and over and over again, it gains strength. I understand if I repeat something over and over again, I vivify it. I understand that if I repeat it over and over and over again, it will be of benefit to my unfolding, to my enlightenment. And then you do it. You do the practice. It may be that you choose to do it at noon every day, at sunrise every day, But this practice to making it a habit is a deep, deep mystical practice. You are linking to time, to kala. And by linking to kala, your body and your mind immediately, when that time arises again, immediately begins to do that which needs to be done. That will help you not only now, when your mind is seized by the fears, but it will help you as you are leaving the earth plane. Because if you set the practice at the same time, when you're on the other side, your mind will begin to wake up at sunrise, at sunset, at noon, and chant Om Bhurrbhuva Svaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat Om. And there you go. Sometimes the emotions that rise in the mind are paralyzing. They become paralyzing because they've been fed, and they solidify because they've been fed. Today, those emotions that rise in your mind, it's different than the past. In the past, you'd have an emotion that would rise in your mind, and it might be something your mother or father or husband or wife or brother or sister or friend said, or neighbor. But now, because of the communication methods that we have, the thought is fed with greater power. Shelley G gave us this formula. It's intensity times duration equals force. Well, in the past, you might have had a short bit of intensity and a relatively short duration. But there's still all the wars between the families where they don't talk to each other for, generations. Don't remember why they don't talk to each other. Today, without you really being conscious of it, you are feeding through your habits, through your patterns, you are feeding the emotions of the mind, and you are letting them be fed by others again and again and again and again. So what do you need to do? You have to go back. One has to go back to the teachings, I think, and say, surround yourself with noble thoughts on all sides. Surround yourself with noble people on all sides. Let go of all of the surrounding yourself with negativity. Find beautiful poetry. Find meditation. Find inspiration. Find art. Find music. Find those things that are going to uplift you and surround yourself with that. Every day, get up in the morning and say, what beautiful, inspiring thought can I think and repeat today? And pull a copy of one of the ancient texts and open it. Use that to guide you through your day. Feed those noble thoughts. Feed the uplifting thoughts. Feed the people, the places that will uplift your consciousness, and let go of those things that will not. And if you say, well, I don't really want to let go of this or that. Okay. The formula is intensity times duration equals force. If you choose to spend 10 minutes doing something that is not lifting your mind, then to lift it, you have to find a way to counterbalance that. And truthfully, when you start looking at your life in this way, you realize that, oh, if I'm really trying to do this, if I really want to lift up my consciousness, it's too much effort to try to repair all of the huya of allowing the thoughts of others to interfere with my peace, my equanimity. Now, when Shanti was in the hut and she tried to meditate, her mind went to the past. She'd bring it back. It flew to the future. She'd bring it back. She tried to stay in the present moment, but her concentration was not sufficient. You have to gain the skill of concentrating. You must gain the skill of concentration. As kala, as time and habit helps you, concentration is another skill. Concentration, bringing your mind to single pointedness, will be of help to you. You will, without any effort, be able to be helped. So, what have I said? To free yourself, you must ascend above the emotions of the mind. To free yourself, you have to see what thoughts you are relative to. What thoughts do you like? What thoughts does your mind like? What do you want? And then say, well, are these beneficial to me or not? Are they helpful to me or not? And if they are not, then change the patterns of your life. Change the patterns of your living. Change the patterns of your thinking. It's simple, really. If you can let go of the desire to control everybody else, to control of their lives, you'll be fine. Now, that's a hard thing for some of us. And it takes sadhana, it takes tarka, reflection on your life, on your mind, on how you live, on how you want to live, to be able to do that. To be able to say, all right, I do understand. I do. I need to be able to ascend above the patterns of the past in order to free myself from those patterns. And when you do that, when you free yourself, you'll feel liberated. You'll feel happy. You'll feel joy-filled. So I said very simple things this morning. Very simple. We must ascend to be free. You must ascend above the emotions that rise and fall in the mind. You're not your emotions. You have to ascend above them. That's the first. But you must understand what you have proclivities to feed. There's a really unhelpful habit of the mind, which is oftentimes to repeat something bad that you've heard. something harmful, well, so-and-so's body is ill. Did you hear that? Oh my gosh, this is happening to them. That's happening to them. What can we do to be of help? Well, the first thing you can do to be of help is stop repeating the whole thing that's happening. So you're not feeding it. Stop repeating so you're not feeding it. And you feed it with your mouth, with your actions, but most importantly, you feed it with your thought forms. And so let go of the thoughts of the past that you're feeding. Let go of your desire to control everyone. And let go of your fears. The second thing is just realize we are blessed. If you link into creating a habit that's linked into time, what a blessing. What a blessing. You are using the rules of the earth plane to help you. You're using the rules of the earth plane to make it better for you. You're using the rules of the earth plane to assist you to your freedom. And the third point is that one needs to measure, to do tarka. So, what did Shanti do? After the sun rises and she sees that she had been frozen all night long, unable to move, because her mind was sure that was a cobra in the corner. Well, she did a little tarka, What practice did I take refuge in? What worked? What kind of sort of worked? What didn't work? What needs to be fed if it's going to work? Write it down, my beloved. Write it down. Okay, this is February 21st, 2021. Write it down. You look and you say, well, here, this is how it is for me today. This is how it is this week. This is how it was last night. All right, write it down. Not to criticize yourself, but to say, well, yeah, that's better than it was last week or last year or last month, but I still need some more effort. And then, as she looked at the japa, the Gayatri mantra, realizing, aha, I do have a practice that is joyful. I do have something to take refuge in. Why I didn't take refuge in it before the sunrise, I'm not so sure. But I have something to take refuge in. You and you alone can free yourself. And it's not that hard. All the tools that you have are with you. They're within you. Let go. I think the proper way to say it would be to say, let go of trying to remake the world as you would like it remade, and simply accept it as it is. That's not easy, but if you accept it as it is, freedom will come to you. If you accept it as it is, you will be blessed. If you accept it as it is, all the difficulties will waft away. And so now we're going to go into our interning, our meditation. Focus your attention at the sun center, the point between your eyes. Turn your head to the left with a double exhalation. And bring it back to the center. At this moment, seeing the face of the divine in front of you, your Ishtadevata, your chosen form of the divine, the most helpful form of life to you. Speak these words. Free me from my limitations. Free them from their limitations. Free them. Free me. Free me from my negative thoughts that I do not pass them on to others. Free me, free them. Free them from their negative thoughts that they do not pass them on to others. Free them, free me. And now, my beloved, calling upon your Ishta, ascend as high as you are able, up to the meditative loka, pulling the energy from the limbs of your body to the trunk of your body, from the trunk of your body, pull the energy to the sun center. Draw that energy up as a golden ball of light. Surround your body with golden light. And now ascend to the high place. Beyond the room you are in, beyond the continent you are on, beyond the city you are in. Ascend to the high place. And here, once again, ascend upward, walking upon the mountains until you reach a shrine. Reaching the shrine, enter into the shrine. See that this shrine is the color of healing. It is the color of balance, balanced self-conscious awareness. Walking into the shrine, feel yourself approaching the pool of healing water. Enter into the pool. Feel the clothing dissolving away as you walk back towards the waterfall of light. Standing under the waterfall of light, feel that light pouring upon your crown center, knowing that all of the fears, all of the anger, all of the anguish of the past, all the anguish about the future all the anguish about the present. Feel it washing away. Om Bhurva Svaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Vargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhurva Svaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Vargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhurva Svaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Vargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om. Feel the golden light pouring upon your crown center, pouring down into every cell of your being. Be willing at this moment to let go of the emotions of the mind, the emotions that have filled and grabbed onto you, the emotions that have seized your mind. At this moment, let go. At this moment, be healed. Allow the waterfall of light to fill you, to bless you, to cleanse your being. Allow the water of light to fill and cleanse every cell of your being in every way that it is needed. Feel your body ascend, if it wishes to, as the heavy weights drop off. And now walking forward from the waterfall of light. Walk through the shrine, feeling yourself cleansed and anew, feeling all of the old emotions that you have let go of have been transformed. They are washed away. They are cleansed. Walking forth now from the waterfall, walking forth to the pool of light. Feel yourself cleansed and vivified. But know that for you, this healing shrine here, it is here always for you. You can return at any time. You can return at any time, at any day, at any moment, to let go of the emotions of the everyday mind, to ascend above those, to be vivified, to be strengthened, to be cleansed. Remember that thou art good. From goodness, only goodness will come. Find joy in that which you are doing. Find a practice, my beloved, that you really enjoy, that brings you happiness, that you can say, oh, yum, I'd like to do that one. And now, as you choose, leave the shrine of light and return to the high place of meditation, knowing that you have the ability to come back at any time. Thou art good. You have the ability to improve your life. It's not hard. All the Kriya practices, they're just a little change. Take advantage of the laws of the earth plane. Just a little change. And bring ever greater joy and equanimity to your life. May you be healthy. May your mind and body be healthy. May your mind and body be vibrant. May your mind and body be well. And may, if you are going to be seized, may your mind and body be seized by the bliss of Ananda, Ananda, Ananda. Namaste. Namaskar.